everybody. My name is Emma, and welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. Presented by Offside News. I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Marcie.
Hello.
Um, sorry, I literally woke up from a nap, like, less than an hour ago, and I've eaten food and have done not much else. So,
Is that when you sent me the text asking when we were going to record?
yes. Look, I had a long day. I had to take the train back from Toronto today at 6:47 in the morning. Meaning I was up at 4:30 because my dad had to drop me off so I could, transport my way to Union. And then I had a really lovely train ride that lasted 5 hours. And then once I got into Ottawa, I got stuck on the O train. If you haven't, if you've spent some time in Ottawa, you know about the O train. I want to set it on fire. This is hypothetical, of course. I would never actually destroy public property. Good law-abiding citizen. I do want to set the O train on fire, though. It is the worst piece of it is the worst piece of public transport infrastructure I've ever had to use in my entire life. And I grew up in Toronto. So it's like, for anyone who's like complains about the TTC, I would love for them to spend like 2 weeks taking public transit in Ottawa, and then they will never complain about the TTC ever again. But I got stuck on the O train because it broke. Luckily, we were like sitting at a station, but it sucked because then like we sat at the station for 20 minutes and I just wanted to get off and I wanted to go home and I wanted to nap. And I just was like, I've been on a train for 5 hours. The last thing I need is to get stuck on another train.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. And then then the conductor, driver, whatever, was like, something broke. Sorry, guys. So we're going to have to run all the trains in both directions off of the other platform. So we then had to go get off this one and go over to the other platform. Except, of course, the only escalator on the side that I was on was going up, and I had to go down. So I had to lug my big suitcase down this flight of stairs. And then to go back up to the other side, there was no escalator that was going up. It was broken.
You truly are God's strongest soldier.
It was 24 degrees in Ottawa today. It was nice and lovely, actually. It was a lovely temperature. It wasn't a lovely temperature when I was wearing a hoodie and a jacket and a pair of jeans. I was sweating buckets by the time I got back to my apartment in a very gross and disgusting way. And then I took a nap because I felt like I deserved it.
You did deserve that nap.
I did absolutely deserve that nap. But yeah, enough about my misadventures with public transit. That's my mood today, if anyone was wondering. And it could be totally made a whole lot worse depending on what the Leafs do tonight.
I need them to do
something.
Yeah, the exact opposite
of whatever was Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hit the start of the third period, and I just went to bed.
Just didn't want to watch anymore. That's fine. You didn't miss much.
No, I was very sleepy. And I was just sat there like it's a Saturday night and I'm currently sat alone in my room watching the Leafs shit the bed.
Against the New York Rangers, which I don't know why I ever have high hopes for any of these games going well for the Leafs, because they never do. For some reason, the New York Rangers, actually, you know who it is specifically? Igor Shesterkin. And Igor, and I don't know if it's just because he's like, I'm going to destroy the Leafs, and that's his mentality, or if it is just he is that good of a goalie. I think it is he's just that good of a goalie. But yeah, so before the game, anyway, yeah, Leafs stuff. Connor Timmins in for Liljegren, because
Why?
sure. All right. We had this discussion when Miranda was on the podcast. We're not gonna have it again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, when I saw
Joseph,
that Connor Timmins had been put in, I should have just gone to bed then.
that was the day before.
Yeah.
Joseph Wool also as well is back at practices.
Yay.
Craig Berube says soon. I think he himself even said soon because he did do a media availability.
Yippee. Always nice knowing we'll see him soon.
Soon. But yeah, so Toronto versus New York Rangers. Stoltz starts in net versus Shesterkin. Pacioretty benched yet again. And all I have noted down is Holmberg, Tavares, Robertson line is such a nothing line.
Yeah.
It gives you absolutely nothing. And like, because I don't know who John Tavares is at all. Because he's like handy in front of the net. He's handy in front of the net. He's still got sick hands. And I don't know if it's because he's still like getting over being sick, or if the amulet is weighing him down. But he just is slow. Like if there's a puck in open ice and he is, the only, like he's the closest Leaf in proximity.
Good luck.
Please, Dad. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck. So I don't know what it is, but he obviously can't drive a line, right? You know who else can't drive a line? Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah.
And Craig Berube commented on this after the game, where he was critical of Pontus Holmberg's play, validly so. He just I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, it just not great.
It's not, and the reason why he's only still playing right now is because the guys that could replace him up and down the lineup are hurt.
Yeah.
Calle Yarncroke, hurt. We don't know when he's coming back. He hasn't even skated yet. But if you were to be like, okay, well then we'll just move Pontus Holmberg to the fourth line, and like when Reeves isn't playing. Connor Dewar, when he comes back, is beating out Pontus Holmberg for that fourth line spot. It's Connor Dewar. The guy was made to play on the fourth line. And it just is, and then of course, obviously, like I have nothing against Robertson at all. Like I think like me saying he can't drive a line is not an insult to him. Because that's not the type of player that he is. Whereas Tavares and Holmberg both can play center.
Yeah.
Nick Robertson cannot.
And that's
and it's right, like it's just such a nothing line where like I almost want to look into the stats, and maybe I will sometime between this episode and Thursday's episode, look at like the stats and just like compare this line to like, I guess the second line. I guess I'd like compare it to like McMahon, Domi, Nylander.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also have just Leafs still not driving the net hard, which has been their problem forever.
Fork found in kitchen.
Like, ooh, Leafs not scoring like dirty net front, like dirty little playoff. I hate saying this. Because it's my least favorite way to describe a goal ever. But unfortunately, it's the only way I can think of doing it right now. And it's the only way in that you can score on Igor Shesterkin, who, in the words of Anthony Stoltz, is about to be the highest paid goalie in the league. He said it, not me.
Yeah.
The Leafs need to score more playoff-style goals. I hate that I said that. It is my least favorite way to describe a goal ever. Playoff style goal. That tells me absolutely nothing. That means nothing. But when I say it, you all know what I mean.
It makes sense.
I still
And I
hate
hate
that I
it
said
makes
it.
sense.
I hate that I don't want to describe it as a playoff style goal, but unfortunately, like that's what
That's
I'm
what
going
it
to
is.
have to do. Because that's what it is, and that's what we all are like, oh yeah, playoff style goal. But there has to maybe someone can give us a better way of describing it. I don't want to say like I don't want to say dirty goal. That still doesn't like is not as descriptive as like what I'm describing. But like net front still doesn't work. Like tap in, they're not always all tap ins, like deflection. Like they just need to drive the net.
Yeah.
And it's what Sheldon Keefe was telling them for years. Right?
Yeah.
And it's now what Craig Berube is going to tell them. And people are going to be like, is it the coaching change really going to work? Or have the Leafs just been bad the whole time? Who knows? I don't know why this team is incapable of doing that. When you have had, okay, and you can be like, well, it's because you've committed to the core four, Emma. You got to trade Mitch Marner. That's what my dad sounds like. It is. He's going to text me and be like, I didn't appreciate that, but you're right.
Yeah.
But those are four guys on the ice who right now are never like are only on the ice at the same time during the power play. It's been a long day. I was up at 4:30. Except for Matthews and Marner, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just like you have guys who are going to be there to score those goals. And that's been like a rotating cast of characters. Right? Like it wasn't always Matthew Nyes there. It used to sometimes be Michael Bunting. Right?
Yeah.
Who is having his own struggles in Pittsburgh right now and was scratched against Winnipeg. But or before that was Zach Hyman, who is also having his own struggles in Edmonton right now. I actually don't know if he has yet to even log a point. Hold on. I know someone put up his stats.
Yeah. That's rough if he hasn't.
I don't know. I haven't really been following, but because I do know Michael Bunting, I think has at least. Oh yeah, no, still has absolutely nothing. Oh, he's been skating cardio.
That's bad.
His game against Dallas was cardio.
Oh.
It's 21 minutes of cardio. No goals, no assists, no points. His plus minus is 0. No penalty minutes. And 4 shots.
That. Jeez.
Zach, they're calling you a fraud on the internet.
What's going on, my guy?
But yeah, no. And like even like if you move in other parts of the lineup, like Bobby McMahon is like now in a role that was not used to be filled by him. That used to be Tyler Bertuzzi's role. But like Max Pacioretty is there now. And like we have Max Domi and like things like this, but it's like there aren't guys there that can score like Chris Kreider. Getting to Chris Kreider. But yeah, Alex I love talking about Chris Kreider. Alexis Lafreniere opens the scoring of the game and just like just a goal. Like it was just gross. Like gross and like I was like, oh, okay, now I can see why you're a first overall pick.
Yeah.
You know, like and I'm not dissing Alexis Lafreniere because I know he got screwed over with his development because New York Rangers and also COVID. I'm not like I also as well like his draft year, like how can you draft? You know what I mean? Like it's just hard scouting with COVID and like not playing, like having players not really play games it's hard to draft guys. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shit on Alexis Lafreniere. I think he's a fantastically talented player, and I think now he's coming into his own. And the fact that we've seen this huge like explosion of talent and skill and scoring from him is because he finally is like overcome the hurdle and like the delay that COVID is.
Yeah.
I'm working on that article for Offside. FYI. Not about Alexis Lafreniere in particular, but I do also always think of him all the time when we talk about like COVID's effect on player development. But it was a goal like that where I'm like, yeah, that's why. And he's deserving of the first overall, but yeah. That's it right there. Yeah. And then that was at the end of the first. And then I have Holmberg takes dumb holding penalty, Chris Kreider goal. And if you watch that goal is exactly what the Leafs need to score more of. And that is exactly the only way that they are going to score on Igor Shesterkin. You can try to beat him outright with your shot. It's never going to happen.
No.
It's very rarely going to happen. And it's only going to happen by a very few select number of players in the league who have the shot to do that. There's not very many of them.
No.
And like, but yeah, Chris, man, I love Chris Kreider. I love his game. I love like I know there are New York Ranger fans who don't really totally 100% appreciate him, but like the Leafs need a Chris Kreider. Yeah, but I do, and that's all that matters. This is my show. It's our show.
Chris Kreider fan club.
Renaming the episode that. It's Chris. Not even the episode. The whole show. Welcome back to another episode of the Chris Kreider Fan Club show.
When we talk about Joseph Woll.
We talk about Joseph Woll. The Chris Kreider Fan Club show presented by Offside News. No, we can't do that because I think Offside's a resident Carolina Hurricanes fan and Columbus Blue Jackets beat reporter, Kat, would absolutely hate us for that.
And
you can't even really mention Chris Kreider in a pitch meeting anymore because she just gets like visibly mad and upset about his hat trick during the playoffs against Carolina to win them the game.
Oh,
I love Kat. I hope she's listening to this. If you are, love Kat.
Hi, Kat.
She's the best. She's so like has such a way with words. She's so talented of a writer, and she's a lovely, lovely person. But yeah. But so that's the thing where it's like I'm like, okay, in terms of if we wanted to look, and I'm gonna say, hey, we can look at Anthony Stolarz' game here, and it doesn't change anything in any opinions on what I have to say about him. He got beat by Alexis Lafreniere, which is like, sure, all right. Like I know we have to say like, oh, you know, goalies are the last line of defense. We also have to be realistic on like the ceiling of a goalie, and I think this game was perfectly accept. Like this was good by Anthony Stolarz.
Yeah, like I was disappointed by the score, but not by how I saw him play.
Yeah. Well, you can be disappointed about the score. Like people, yes, okay. Before you go, but they lost 4-1. If you're only looking at like the score.
Yeah.
2 of those goals were empty netters. He wasn't even on the ice, guys.
Literally.
Like the save percentage doesn't change.
No. It's like I was very happy with how I saw him play, and I was like, you know what? He's, all things considered, he's doing well.
Yeah. Oh no, I think he's done a very great. I think like underratedly, and we can get into this discussion even later, and we probably will. The Leafs have the best full tandem in the Atlantic. Full tandem. That when I say full tandem, I mean both goalies. You can be like, well, because people can be like, well, like I'm not even gonna say best goaltending because people will argue, would be like, well, you know, like look at so-and-so save percentage or whatever. No. If you want to look at the overall performance of what you're going to get out of both of the goalies, either if it's Dennis Hildeby or if it's Joseph Wool, whoever is that other guy with Anthony Stollards, doesn't matter. At this point in the season, it doesn't matter. And we haven't even seen Joseph Wool play a game in the regular season, but we know what he can do when he's healthy. Not even when he's on, when he's healthy.
Yeah.
Because when he's healthy, he's on.
Yeah. He is.
But yeah, and then because like the first goal, whatever, and then the second goal is a Chris Kreider net front tap in.
That's a guarantee.
You can't do anything with that.
You're not. There's no escaping it.
It's Chris Kreider.
Exactly. And we
on
would
a
know
fee for
as the
Miga's
Chris Kreider
advantage
fan
ad. Like,
club.
guys, come on, be realistic here.
It's like, let the gay people have their moment, I guess.
But yeah, no. Austin Matthews then makes it 2-1. I have that one written down as captain's goal. And you think, okay, Leafs are in 1, the momentum can start to shift towards in the Leafs' favor, especially because they scored like the most recent goal.
Mm.
And then it didn't.
No.
And it was weird. It was really weird.
Like, it should have changed.
It should. You're at home. It's Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. You're playing a regional 6 matchup. You're down by 1. You know, your captain just scored a goal to bring you in within 1.
That's a recipe for a win.
That's a recipe for a win. And it just, nothing happened. John Tavares, and I think partly because some of that is they just weren't like scoring dirty goals. Austin Matthews on that goal, you know, sort of somewhat beats out Shesterkin outright. Kind of.
Yeah.
Which again, Austin Matthews, I said there are a couple guys in the league. Austin Matthews is one of them. The other guy that's up there for me is Alexander Ovechkin. That's the sort of company we're putting guys in when I say that, right?
Yeah.
And just it like, yeah. Game stays close, but like the Leafs just can't beat Shesterkin. That's where my notes. Need to score. Again, here I have dirty goals. Impossible to beat straight up. And this is in reference to Shesterkin. Happens every time versus the New York Rangers. I feel like if I were to look back at my notes from the last time the Leafs played the New York Rangers. Okay, who was... Oh, okay. Well, maybe not the one on December 12th where it was Martin Jones and Igor Shesterkin and the score was 7-3 for the Leafs. Oh, this is the dad trip. This doesn't count.
Yeah, I forgot that happened.
That was the dad trip. That doesn't count. The dad trip doesn't count. There's different things there. I'm trying to find it, but Leafs lose 3 straight. Ooh, I remember that. That was bad. Leafs and Oilers. This is West Coast road trip stuff. Ugh. I have it in here because I have every single game in here from last season. The magical lavender notebook that contains everything.
It's like a
Ducks,
unicorn.
Blues,
like a mythical creature.
Coyotes, Joseph update, Golden Knights, Avs, Golden Knights. That was a schedule. Coyote. Ooh, I do remember this. Here we go. Leafs versus Rangers. 4-3 shutout. Shootout. March 2nd last season. Samsonov in net. Liljegren returns to the lineup. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, how things have changed. because I have written down here JT scoring, love the third line.
Ooh.
Ooh.
About that. Yeah, about that one.
Oh, then I just have stuff about Rempe.
Yeah.
I don't know why my notes for this game were so short. What was going on? But anyways.
Can't stop sniffling.
Yeah, okay, but I do have written down here, if I go back to the game, that was 7-3, I have genius deflection of a Riley shot. Mitch Marner scored a goal. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, I do have things like that in here. I just don't remember what half these goals even like looks like based on my descriptions, but sorry, I just had to go back through the notebook. Someday I feel like I'm gonna finish this notebook and I'll just like slowly start dropping pages of it if people ever are curious about it. Because there's some good things. There's some good stuff in here. But yeah. Here we go. New York Rangers, 2 empty net goals. I didn't even bother writing down who scored them. I know one of them was Panarin, and the other one I think was probably Chris Kreider. But I do have written down here Weipel Stolarz twice. Like, I get you're down by 2 goals, but I think at that point there was like 45 seconds left, or like, right?
Yeah, like, come on.
I was like, yeah, I get it. I've seen it happen. I've seen goals scored like that. I've seen goals scored in less amount of time. Yes. But also like why? Why are we doing like why? It just took this game longer to end at the end of the day.
Yeah, like just
but
out of my misery.
Yeah, I do also have like think of it as a 2-1 game.
Yeah.
That's what you should treat this game as, like, and I think people who just sort of look at the score and like don't actually look at anything else will not realize that about this game, but think of it as a 2-1 game. That's what it was. It just was a 2-1 game where like the Leafs just like didn't do.
Yeah, they were just like they were definitely on the ice, but that's like
they were there. They were there for like the third period. Yeah. Yeah, I also have 2 heart attacks from Anthony Stolarz. I don't want to go through that ever again. Because this, like, I think you would notice if you were like actually paying more attention to like most of the game than I was. I was watching like half of it during dinner, and the other half I was watching like while I was playing cards with friends. So like I wasn't like fully watching it, but yeah. So Anthony Stolarz lost his skate blade at the end of the first period, for an entire shift. He didn't have it for an entire shift.
Yeah,
and this is where like I will get into like a rant about like changing the rules here, because all during this time, like the puck was not in Leafs zone, like it was in the Rangers zone, and like Stolas was like waving over the ref, being like, "Dude, I don't have my blade. Like blow the whistle."
Out, yeah.
And the ref like can't. He's not right. Like you can't blow a whistle for this sort of thing. The only thing is, though, is like Stolarz said it in his media availability, and I think he's quite right when he says like there's an injury risk there.
Yeah,
Because how goalies move side to side in their crease and how they push off is using their skate blades. And sorry.
Bless you. Bless you again.
I hate to sneeze there. But if they don't have their skate blade, then they can't push off. And then the way Anthony Schultz phrased it was like there's a higher risk for groin injury there because your foot just like has nothing.
It's just slip and slide.
Slip and slide, yeah. And then, but so he needed help off, but I wasn't totally paying attention to what had happened.
What watching
and
my heart sank.
Tell me why. I literally because I like had turned around to clear plates from dinner, and I look back at the TV, and they're helping Anthony Stollerts off the ice, and my heart sunk. And if you like, apologies to the offside work chat, who were probably not all watching. Actually, most of us were probably watching Leafs and Rangers. Let's be so honest, knowing the demographic in there, but not. And it was just me going, what happened to Stollerts? Oh my God, why is he getting helped off the ice? What is going on? Is he hurt? Are we so over? Like, is this it? Dennis Hildeby start getting warmed up during intermission. It turns out he just lost skate blade, and like, this was the fastest way for him to get off the ice. Just like, yeah, all right. Never want to go through that experience again, though. And I do think there should be a way for, like, if a goalie loses his skate blade, like, that he can get a whistle. Because it becomes a safety thing, and it becomes reducing injury for players. And it also is, like, because they can get, like, you see it all the time, if their mask comes off, they get the whistle. So you see it all the time if a mask strap breaks. I think Joseph Wool did it a couple times last season. They will fling the mask off their face to get the whistle off.
Because it's not safe.
It's not safe. And then they'll get the whistle because they can't, like, if their helmet if they don't have their helmet on. We're not going backwards.
No.
Goalies are wearing masks now. We're gonna keep it that way. Yeah, but then also later on in the game, another where I was like, oh no, Anthony Stollerts, what is happening? Is he almost got cut by a skate blade and was looking around very frantic and was like slow to get up. And I was like, oh my God, why is he slow to get up? And he almost got cut by a skate blade. And then he said in his media, he's just he has the most not telling, but freely open, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just telling us all these things in his media availability.
It's less media and more just having a bit of a yap.
Yeah. But Anthony Stollerts, yeah, he said in his media availability that he had felt the skate on the back of his leg, because if you look, there's nothing on the back of a goalie's leg besides sock. They don't even really wear shin pads, knee pads, shin pads in the same way that a skater does. They just there's nothing there, right? It's just sock, and they all have skinny little legs.
Well aware.
Yeah. But yeah, but he just said that he wears cut resistant socks now because he had a scare back in juniors, and that he had thought he had felt, because he had felt the skate blade, so he thought that he had got cut, hence the panic. But he was all right. It just, I get I think I still have PTSD from goalie injuries that I get really, really nervous now.
Yeah.
And then also I have here Chris Tanev blocked a shot, left game, and then came back because he's Chris Tanev.
The usual.
The usual. He did not play as much during the third period for Toronto, but he was back on the ice at practice today. I think he'll be good to go tonight, and be blocking more shots. And then My final point about the game, and this is just reiterating a point that I have said the whole time. Dirty goals. That was in all caps, by the way. Always been the issue versus New York Rangers and Boston.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
And it probably will become, depending on who's in net, will be the issue against Ottawa now, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tampa, maybe a little bit less. Vasilevsky, I don't want to say he's been off his game or he's worse. He just is slightly easier to beat in that way. Just because of like the style of his play in net, you can see it. It's different. But like, yeah. But yeah. Dirty goal. Playoff style. I sound like Sheldon Keefe now. Playoff style goals.
Oh.
But yeah, so some notes about like morning skate today, because the Leafs play tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The game is on Prime in Canada. It's part of Monday Night Hockey. It is no longer on Sportsnet, and I know I am going to be getting a text from my parents about it tonight. And hats off to all of the like the Canadians out there who will be getting a phone call from their parents at around 7 o'clock going, "Where's the game? I can't find the game." And you have to then explain to them that, no, it's on Prime Video. You have to go into Prime, and then you have to go to live TV, and then you have to go down until you see the big, bright blue box that says NHL on Prime, Leafs versus Lightning, and click it.
Oh.
But yeah, there's also a whole like bunch of like pregame stuff now. There's like a whole pregame thing where it's. Hold on. Let me pull this up because I was looking at this.
Interesting.
Hold on. Let me pull up my Twitter likes. I liked it instead of I did. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, here we go. Amazon trying something new for tonight's Prime broadcast. Prepare for like bad. I watched the first one last week, which was Penguins versus Canadians. It was fine. My tweet about that one mid-game graphic went kind of viral. I sent it to you. The Pittsburgh Penguins Mount Rushmore one.
Oh shit, yeah.
We talked about it with Randy on the show.
Yeah.
Last week. That tweet kind of blew up. Oops. So I think now Prime probably knows that I was like openly dissing them. But yeah, so Home Ice Access launches. Following its debut last week, Prime Monday Hockey Night. That's a terrible title. Prime Monday Night Hockey. Jeez. Continues to bring fans inside the home arenas of their favorite NHL teams with the launch of Home Ice Access. This 45-minute countdown experience allows fans to watch the arena atmosphere build before the broadcast pregame segments begin. Home Ice Access offers Prime members watching from home an opportunity to experience the arena's sights and sounds before each Prime Monday Night Hockey game, with multiple cameras showing live views inside the building, including the concourse, locker room level corridors, fan arrivals, and a seat on the glass for player warm-ups. Home Ice Access begins 1 hour before puck drop, and Prime members can watch by visiting primevideo.ca/NHL and clicking into that evening's game. Look, this is going to become really, really handy once Joseph Woll is back playing.
Yes. Extremely so.
But you won't have access to it. That's the
No, I won't. And
I don't know anyone who like clips to the level that like you and Issa do. Shout out to Issa, who's in Canada. And I'll be able to access this.
It's deeply upsetting.
I'm interested to see like how this will work and stuff like that. I mean, look, I not so much publicly, but very much privately to people. Shit talked Mark Messier on the broadcast last week. I thought he wasn't good at all. I thought because he's a guy where it's like I knew he was doing like NHL broadcast stuff, but like in the States for American broadcasters that I don't have to watch because I live in Canada and I don't have to see it. But now I have to see it because if I want to watch a Monday night game, which is most of the Leafs games, I have to, like, the Leafs have like 6 games on Prime this season, which I think is the most out of any of like, or it's up there with like the Canadian teams. I think I don't know if it's exactly the most or if it's tied for the most, but it is, I think, one of the top ones. They play a lot of Monday night games because they play a lot of Saturdays. Yeah. Funny how that works. But yeah, I don't think Mark Messier is cut out to be on TV, but that's my personal opinion. But yeah. What else do I have? So that'll be cool. I don't know if you're in Canada, maybe tune into that. This show will definitely not be up before that game starts, though. So hopefully you know about it. And you saw the tweet that I saw. But yeah, Stollarts is expected to start in net tonight versus Tampa. That is his 5th start in 6 games. And I have noted with that, seen this before with Wool last season.
I'm not gonna lie, my Wi-Fi keeps cutting out, so it's very jumpy.
Well, I just come, like Anthony Stollarts 5 starts in 6 games. Seen this before with Wool last season. That's all I have noted with that.
Yeah.
Fun little tidbit of information.
Yeah,
I think I probably have the exact same thing where I have like Joseph Wool, like 5 starts and whatever, and how many games written down, like just before he got hurt. Because I remember commenting on it too, where I was like,
yeah, no, in my notes, I've just got ... sigh, and then followed by, come on guys, what happened to not overworking our goalies? And then also, give me a break, my heart can't.
Oh, here, literally, I have it here. It is literally the show before we talk about that Leafs and Sens game. We'll get the start for a 6th straight game.
Oh boy.
At least we know Stollarts will probably not play tomorrow because the Leafs are then are blessed with a lovely back-to-back with travel. They are in Columbus to play the Blue Jackets tomorrow. And this is where I bring up a lovely little thing. Wool, return of Wool, question mark. Craig Berube, Craig. Maybe I'll just start calling him Craig only. Craig, my best friend Craig. Craig Berube said that that Joseph Wool could be back and potentially could be an option for tomorrow's game, which like, is that not what I said last episode? Is that not exactly what I said last episode?
I think so.
Is that you have Joseph Wool come back for the game against Columbus because you're on the road and it's against, no offense to Columbus Blue Jackets, but I am stating a fact where you're against a weaker team than the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers. And then you're able to send Dennis Hill to be down. Like, you can have him back up. I honestly probably expected him to start this game so you could save Anthony Stollarts and like have him, like, have your backup be fully, but like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you can send Dennis Hill to be down and like not even have to like travel with him. Honestly, probably Joseph Wool could be like halfway to Columbus by now. He could be sitting at Pearson waiting for his flight for Columbus like he did that Carolina game. Right?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? But like, I love being right. I literally said this last week.
No, because the amount of times, like, I mean, this happens all the time, but especially like recently, the amount of times you've just sent me a tweet and gone, I love being right.
Because I have been right. I have been right. If I say anything on this podcast about the Leafs and you guys are like, I don't know about that, Emma, have you know that like 9 times out of 10, the like 2 days later, I'm proven right.
Yeah. You will always be right.
I am right all the time, and it's the best feeling in the world. But yeah, so Max Pacioretty, I think, also is in this game. Reeves is out. Berube confirmed that, which will cause some shifts to the lineup, at least the forward group that we've seen the past couple of days. I do not think you should take Bobby McMahon off the second line. He probably will lose his spot to the second line and will end up down on like the third. But like, no offense to Bobby McMahon, he can also not drive a line. So I don't know why you would do that. I would pretend like I know, okay, maybe you're like, maybe you don't want to put Max Pacioretty and John Tavares on the same line because that's just only asking for like slow.
Yeah. It's
the amulet, man. I'm sorry, I'm never gonna drop the amulet bit. It's the best thing in the entire world.
No,
People this weekend were at like investigating when John Tavares started wearing the amulet.
Oh,
and if he actually wears said amulet, and it was my favorite thing to follow along with on Twitter. I was having the time of my life last week following along with the John Tavares amulets. It's the best thing in the world. I'm sorry.
It really is.
This is like my new Leafs bit for me. I have Joseph Wool carrier pigeons. I have John Tavares amulet.
Yeah. What more could you want?
I lost like the actual reality of like not reality, but like I lost like the reality of Matthew Nyes living in John Tavares' basement. So like I have to make up for it with something.
Yeah. Like the spot has to be filled.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I will say though is that like Holmberg will probably be the guy demoted somehow.
Yeah.
My thing is with this, I need Connor Dewar back and healthy so badly. So I can prove everyone right about when I say he is perfect fit for the fourth line. Like him and Steven Lorentz on the same line.
Oh.
Please. So I can be proven right.
So bad.
I need it so I like you had to get stupid shoulder surgery. Damn it. Like man. But yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about the Leafs. I mean, we can talk about some stuff around the league.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Frozen Frenzy, so that means all 32 teams play, and you can tell I'm absolutely thrilled by this being on a random Tuesday in October.
Like literally, just why?
I complained about it, and I was like, "This is the dumbest thing in the entire world that it is on a random Tuesday in October." And like this is the problem with the NHL and NHL scheduling. And then and this is so I literally was sitting there, I was like, you have UK in your username. Why are you trying to argue with me about American broadcasting right now? And was like, this is because ESPN has college football and college basketball all the way through every weekend until March. Do I look like I care about college basketball or college football? Do I look like the person who cares?
Yes. You look like
I also don't give a crap about ESPN. I don't, to be honest. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I don't. The NHL has other national broadcasters in the US. I'm well aware of that fact. I've been doing research on it. Piece coming to Offside News eventually.
Oh god.
That's what I did this week, is I learned how Bally Sports works. And then they renamed to FanDuel Sports Network. And I got really mad and I tweeted out that Shane Pinto deserves financial compensation for this. He absolutely does.
He does.
Someone in the league needs to apologize to Shane Pinto. I understand they were setting a precedent, and I'm sure like if you just like for breaking like an online sports bettor's terms and conditions in that way, you get it's like automatically 41 games. But someone needs to, because like people were villainizing the poor guy.
Yeah. Like, give him a break.
All he did is have his friend in New York like place a bet for him, which like yes, you can't do. That's not allowed. But also, can you blame the guy for online betting when he has Bet 99 on his helmet for the team he plays for? And there's
Literally.
like live betting odds in the corner of the screen of the broadcast of the team he plays for. And oh, now here we go. We're renaming regional broadcasters FanDuel Sports Network after a sports. Save me. I don't like stop. Not everyone who watches sports to place bets. I like watching sports because I actually enjoy watching sports. Like if the only reason why you watch sports is that so you can place bets, that is called a gambling addiction. And you have a problem. And you need to get help.
Exactly.
Like people would have people who like are thinking like, oh, it's not that big of a problem. Because there are people who think that way. You would be saying something totally and completely different if it was like if you replaced every like sports betting sponsor or sports anything named after a sports bettor or anything like that in the NHL or in sports in general with like alcohol, like with like beer. Like if it was like, oh, instead of FanDuel Sports Network, it was Coors Sports Network.
Yeah, like whoa, Fork Finding Kitchen, shot horror.
Then it actually looks really bad. It looks really bad that way. Anyway, yeah, but like also as well as like, okay, but ESPN is not the NHL's only national broadcaster. And I know ESPN has like blah blah blah, all these things on the weekends. Okay, but why is it in October? Why are we doing this in October? I know there is other things that go into planning an NHL schedule, including arena availability, especially with a lot of teams sharing arenas with NBA teams. But like
surely there's another time.
There was what, like 3 games yesterday? There's 1 game today, and there's 13 tomorrow.
It's I just give up.
That's what we're gonna. All right, got it. Perfect. It also just like also ties into how the NHL like doesn't like their money for them is in the American market, not in the Canadian market, and so they will market to the American market and not the Canadian market, especially when it comes to like certain broadcast things. Like the only people who market the NHL to Canadians and to the Canadian market is Canadian broadcasters, and that's because they rely on Canadian viewership.
Yeah.
I could go on about this, but I will not.
It's a can of worms we won't get into today.
I get really worked up about sports broadcasting.
Yeah, you do.
Ask me about public broadcasting for sports. Do not actually. We don't have the time to get into that.
I was gonna say we could be for a while.
Yeah, I also have on here Winnipeg Jets are still undefeated. I actually don't know if they're the only team that are still undefeated. I should probably check that before I'm just like, Winnipeg Jets still undefeated. I think there's got to be another team.
I think there is. I can't remember who.
No, they're the only team who's still undefeated.
Shit.
Dallas was, and they lost, and then Calgary also was, but they lost in OT. But yeah, Winnipeg Jets, the only team still undefeated.
Please
and they don't play until Tuesday.
Don't tell my dad that because he will become insufferable. And he will
message Paul right now.
No.
My best friend Paul. Oh, that's probably gonna. Oh, and because guess who they play tomorrow? The Jets. St. Louis Blues. Okay, but you gotta feel good. You know who's in net for them on Sunday against Pittsburgh, where they won? And he stopped He faced 39 shots and only allowed 3 goals.
Yeah.
Our good pal, Eric Comrie.
Yay!
I say our good pal. Neither of us have ever met the man, but we do like him.
Yeah, one day.
One day we will get him on. He just likes to yap. I feel like he'd be great to have on a podcast.
He would.
I feel like he would he'd enjoy it too.
Oh yeah, like I'm sorry, that man loves a good gossip. And what do we love? A good gossip. The three of us on one show. Insufferable. In the best way possible.
Absolutely. But yeah, the Winnipeg Jets, good job for Eric Comrie. Like, he had a really good game.
Yeah.
Winnipeg Jets still undefeated. I also have written down here, Will Smith got a haircut.
He did.
Thoughts?
Not sure. Sure. A haircut happened.
It's not a good one.
No.
It's a terrible haircut. Macklin Celebrini goes on IR and he gets a haircut. That's a cry for help.
Oh, that's some Jamie Drysdale, Trevor Zegras bullshit. Bestie goes on IR and I make drastic decisions. But yeah. Yeah, I've just looked it up.
But yeah, no, he was asked about it on why he cut his hair. He said, I was bored. It was getting in my way.
You know what? Which is
phrased like this, I was like, so did he do it himself then?
I hope he did. Can you imagine? He's just like one of the girls.
I was bored. Decided to cut my own bangs.
Just sat in front of the mirror with a pair of kitchen scissors. No, because that's what I do. I cut my own hair.
I don't cut my own hair because I get approximately one haircut every 2 years. Or at least that was like the gap between my most recent, like my last 2 haircuts was 2 years.
Yeah, I don't get my hair cut very often. I usually get it cut like right before I start uni again. Like I'll have a nice trim and I'll actually go to the hairdressers. But apart from that, it's just me, my bedroom mirror, and some scissors. Because I'm not going to the hairdressers just to have them cut.
True. Like you do have actual
trim.
bangs.
I need to trim them again.
I don't. I have like just longer layers and things like that. But yeah, no, last time, yeah, it was 2 years. This was the gap between my last 2 haircuts.
That's wild.
Well, because it was
Don't tell my grandma that because she will cry.
2 years ago, I cut my hair I cut it all off because it was all fried from chlorine. And I was like, oh, I'm done. Like, I was like, I'm gonna just cut it all off instead of trying to like figure it. Also, I was just getting sick of the long hair. I did the big chop, which is not my first time doing it. I did it actually at the start of high school as well. Same thing. But so I knew I already looked good with it, like with a like shorter hair, so it was fine. And then I just like never went back. And then I was like, actually, this is getting kind of ridiculous. I have like a lot of hair. I have fine hair, but I have a lot of hair. And it was getting really annoying. So I needed it thinned out. And so I was like, oh, I'll get layers in. And because there's nothing really framing my face. So I went in 2 years later, got a haircut. Funnily enough, it was like the first haircut I had gotten while Simon and I have been dating too, which is really funny.
Oh my God, it is. That's wild.
Well, because like it's like I just never got a haircut while we were together because I just like wasn't in Toronto long enough to like make an appointment with my hairdresser because I like going to the same person because she does a really good job with my hair. But yeah, no, so it was like right before I left not right. It literally was the day I left before I got on my flight to Ireland in August.
It was.
Because I was texting, I was like, gonna get my hair cut and then I'm gonna go to the airport. Got my hair cut on my way to the airport.
I wonder what you went to the airport for.
I wonder.
I wonder.
But yeah, no, that was it was like the day of my flight too, because like I wasn't flying out till like 8. Like I was like it was a later flight, right? Because it was to Europe. So I was like, I don't know what I'd do with myself like during the day. I'm
Get a
not,
haircut.
and my mom was like, well, you could get a haircut. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of smart. So I had actually had like lovely, like really nicely washed hair as well before my flight. I don't know if you could notice that when I got off the bus that I had been on after for 2 hours after being on a plane for 5.
You look incredible.
But yeah, no, sorry. When the picture dropped of Will Smith's haircut, though, circling back to the conversation at hand to relate it back to hockey, my first thought was like, Patrick Marleau gave him that hairdresser.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I've definitely seen worse. But
No, that's the thing, is I have seen worse. I have seen worse. I've witnessed worse. But it is just really funny where it was like, oh, so all right. Sure. He just had really nice, lovely curls as well. That was the thing where I'm like, oh, dude.
like, come on.
I went through the same like range of emotions that I go through when Simon gets a haircut. We're back insulting his hair cuts yet again. We already did this like a few shows ago.
Yeah.
And then
What,
he
have you got
texts
another
me.
haircut?
No, he has not, but I think he's going to probably end up getting one soon because it's
Oh
been a
no,
while.
Simon,
Like
don't.
he hasn't gotten one since like before his cousin's wedding, and that was in June.
Oh, Simon, please don't get a haircut. You'll upset Emma. We can't have that.
I just think he needs to like find the hairstyle that works for him and then go in every 2 months and get a trim.
Hmm.
And he has a hairstyle that works for him, and it is always about 6 weeks after he gets his haircut. Usually, like the normal
Yeah.
way that he usually gets it cut. It is 6 weeks after that because it needs to grow out first because he always goes too short. For my liking. For my liking. And isn't that what matters at the end of the day?
What is a boyfriend if not someone you play dress up with?
He can't know why he keeps getting clothes for Christmas. Christmas is coming up.
Simon, you will not be getting clothes, I promise. Oh god.
He can't know why. Maybe this just like proves like I'm a terrible gift giver though, if it's like what I keep getting him.
Yeah, but no, I think you're a good gift giver.
You're saying that because I gave you an Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen hockey card.
Yeah, and it was a really good gift. Therefore, you are a good gift giver. What can I say?
Man. All right.
Oh dear.
I feel like I'm not so much as I'm a bad gift giver. It's just I'm like
It's hard to find the right gift.
unique gifts.
Mm.
I tend to follow a pattern. I've alluded to this before with what I get my dad as gifts for his birthday and Christmas and Father's Day. And I'm sure he's figured it out. And he hasn't complained yet because I do buy him things that he likes.
Problem solved.
He quite liked the shirt I got him for Father's Day this year. He wears it all the time. He's read the books that I've gotten him before. And he's worn the socks and the tie that I've given him as gifts.
Oh.
He's just not. I think also as well, it's hard because, like, for us to go do like activities together is not difficult, just like
Mm.
the only time I'm really home for a considerable amount of time and not like that's the thing. We could go to a hockey game together. I think that would be fun.
Mm.
Maybe I'll figure out a way of planning that out somehow. It's like we're not often in the same city in a way that makes it
Yeah.
easy for us to go see a hockey game.
Mm. So it's like,
Yeah. Maybe I'll try to in some time in the next couple of years try to get us to Montreal just to see Leafs versus Habs.
ooh, that'd be
That could
good.
be fun.
Could be good.
I don't know if we'd talk after the game to each other, but
Yeah, that's a good point. But you
yeah.
know,
I don't know. Because what do you usually get your dad? What do you gift? What do you
uh,
gift Paul?
it's a wide variety of things. I got him some pajama bottoms last year. They're little football ones. So it's soccer. Um, and then
We work for a Canadian website now, so work, I say in quotations.
we work.
We
We
work.
we don't work. We yap for a Canadian website.
Yes. Yeah. So we got to
Um,
use Canadian English.
we'll never know peace. Yeah, or I get him like books, whiskey. He likes his whiskey, although not so
He's
much at
always
the
good.
moment because he's still slightly scarred from the hangover he had a few
Mm.
months ago from having a bit too much. Because
Mm.
let's just say, when you say you're gonna finish off the bottle because there's only a bit left, there is never only a bit left. It's always so much more than you think. And he didn't realize how much only a bit left was until the next morning when he said, and I quote, "This is the worst I've ever felt. Rough as a dog's ass." Iconic Paul quote for you there. But yeah, I can't remember what I got him this year. I got him a new pint glass.
Nice, nice.
It's a nice fancy one. But yeah, it's like I usually get my mum, I'll get her a nice vodka. I got her it for Christmas last year. Or was it her birthday this year? I think it was her birthday this year. I got her this like local Manchester made um botanical vodka. And it came in a really nice bottle, and she's kept the bottle because she was like, "This is really cute." Um, so yeah, it's usually just like bits and bobs like that. But
Yeah, I guess we'll end the episode here. I do have to write a midterm tonight, so this will go up
oof,
eventually tonight at some point.
it'll happen when it happens.
It'll happen. I'm sure everything that we've said is still relevant after tonight's game.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, but with that being said, uh, thank you so much for listening to this episode of From the Fourth Line, presented by Outside. We will be back on Thursday. We're back to our normal schedule because Thanksgiving was last week.
Yeah.
You guys should know the routine by now. We've been following it this way for quite a long time. I'm sorry. I have the statutory holidays that require family commitments. Um, Also, it was the best day to get Miranda on the show, and I think it's important to get Miranda on the show.
Yeah. Getting Miranda on the show is a priority for us
Yes. And it should
always.
happen more often than it does because we love having Miranda on the show.
Hmm.
Um,
Love.
but yeah, this has been presented by Offside News. You can find Offside on every social media platform. Pick and choose. They're on all of them at Offside News Co. And you can also find more of the articles, including the ones that I write, but also the ones that all of the lovely writers at Offside also write. There's some really great ones this week. You can find those at offsidenewsco.com. You can find the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4TH. You can also find the show wherever you get your podcast. You can also find both of us on Twitter if you miss us between episodes. We're hilariously funny sometimes and also right.
Sometimes, always.
We're always funny and we're sometimes right.
Yeah.
At 60 Leaves for Marcie, at Pearview1 for myself. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back Tuesday. Not Tuesday. We'll be back Thursday, but the Leafs will be back Tuesday after tonight. Go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go.